The Secrets of Star Wars is brought to you by the StarQuest Production Network and is made possible by our many generous patrons. If you'd like to support the podcast, please visit GiveStarQuest.com.
I am Emily Swallow, also known as the Armorer on The Mandalorian. And I'm just giving a little shout out to the Secrets of Star Wars podcast because this is the way.
Hello there.
It's a power that Jedi have that lets them control people and make things float.
Impressive. Every word in that sentence was wrong.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
It's against my programming to impersonate a deity.
That's not how the Force works.
Force is with me, and I am with the Force, and I fear nothing.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.
You're listening to The Secrets of Star Wars, where we talk about everything connected to that galaxy far, far away. From movies to books, TV shows, and more, we're looking at the deeper themes and meanings found in the Star Wars universe. I'm your host, Jeff Haecker, and joining me is Kathryn Laffrey. Hey, Kathryn.
Hey, Jeff.
And Thomas Salerno. Hey, Thomas.
Hello, Jeff.
All right, so today we are discussing the second episode of Maul Shadow Lord's Sinister Schemes. And I have a pretty brief recap, but I have more notes to discuss as we go. So the recap is Maul takes Vario and Devon from their holding cells and brings them to his hideout, telling Devon she needs to adapt to the new galaxy. Lawson, feeling pressure from his superiors, meets with a criminal informant and learns about Maul and his Shadow Collective. Vario gives intel to Maul on how he can draw out Krim, the leader of the Pike Syndicate who betrayed Maul, which he then uses to attack the Pike's cargo shipment. And then Maul tells Devon she can escape whenever she wants to, and the episode ends as if she uses the Force to break out of her cell. All right, so what were your impressions of this episode, Kathryn? I'll start with you.
It's just one big continuation of a big adventure. My goodness. I mean, to open the way it did was fabulous. And a lot of tunnel fights and scenes, so it makes it interesting. A lot of small space stuff.
Yeah. And what about you, Thomas?
I watched this episode back to back with the first one. And like Kathryn says, it was really just a continuation of where first episode left off. Really enjoying this show so far. Very action heavy, very little fluff. I enjoy that we're finally getting kind of a proper crime drama in Star Wars. That's a lot of fun. And while I found a few things a bit predictable, those are really just minor nitpicks. I'm just enjoying the ride.
Yeah, no, and I'll agree. I really enjoyed this episode, and I think we talked last time how similar to Blade Runner this is, and I feel like it got even more Blade Runner this time around.
I'm glad you said that. Like because I watched these episodes earlier today with my brother. He had seen them already. But the first thing I said was, this city is Blade Runner.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it definitely felt that way. And, I think Mike said it last time, but this time I feel like it was even more Blade Runner than before, than even the first episode. And yeah, very good action. But I think even more interesting was the interplay with Devon and Maul that we get. And, I don't know if y'all, I don't know if you have, Kathryn, but I've watched the next episodes that are out. But, of course, no spoilers here. But yeah, it's definitely a very interesting setup with her and Maul. And, Maul trying to get himself an apprentice to go after his enemies, like he does. So
he's ambitious. He even says to go up even against Sidious. And I'm that's pretty ambitious, Maul. I don't know. I don't know,
he's been after Sidious for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he stays going after Sidious until the end. He up until he fights Kenobi on Tatooine because he thinks he can use. I don't know if jumping to Rebels, that's far in the future of this, but I don't know if he's thinking he can take Luke and make him an apprentice.
Yeah.
And then go after Vader and Sidious. But anyway, that's getting ahead of ourselves. But yeah, this episode picks up right where the last one ended, where Maul's group infiltrates or attacks the precinct, and we don't see the initial breakout of like pulling them out of their cells, pulling Devon out of her cell, but it's kind of drops us right in the middle of the action. They're already trying to escape through the tunnels.
Us. We're in a tunnel. That's scary. I mean, I was like, which way are we going? Up or down? Then you watch somebody fall and Maul slices a droid in half. It was like, okay.
Yeah.
But even before that, did you guys listen to the change in the music?
Mm-mm.
Oh, there was a heavy heartbeat sound.
Oh, I think I noticed that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we turned up the bass on that one. It was freak. You got to really turn up the bass with this. All these shows, they're so good. But yeah, that was just like freaky. So it kind of had that telltale heart, like freak you out moment, and then all of a sudden you're dropped into this tunnel scene, and it was just like going over a really steep roller coaster.
Yeah. I did notice the heartbeat. I didn't realize it was a different, because I usually just hit skip any skip I can do. I skip to the start of the episode, but yeah, as they're fighting, like, and Devon's not going quietly. Like she's trying to fight back against, I can't remember. I'm probably going to mix up which one is which, but one of the Knight brothers. I think Scorn is the one that has the gun, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, they have names.
Yeah. Scorn and Icarus.
Thing 1 and Thing 2. No.
Yeah. Well, and I think Scorn is, I'm Googling, but I think Scorn is the one with the, I think he's the one that carries the minigun, and Icarus is the one that's likes the knives, but yeah, he's trying to drag her through the tunnels, and she's like kicking him and fighting back, and she almost gets away, but then Spybot, who's one of my new favorite droids, shows up and stuns her with his,
gives her the old Princess Leia stun.
Oh yeah. That droid that gives me vibes of, do you guys remember? I think it was Transformers 2 or 3. That little doctor droid who was gonna like dissect Shia LaBeouf in that one scene. You know, like that he was giving me those vibes.
He's a creepy scoundrel.
Yeah, but he's, unlike Chopper and other like astromech type droids, he actually like talks and says a few words and phrases, which is pretty funny. But yeah, as they're getting away, then we get Two Boots hijacking I believe a trash transport to go chase after them.
Yeah, garbage scow. Yeah,
he actually did the Anakin line, I think, with the "I'll be right back," and he jumps over the edge to go get it.
Yeah, that's true.
Police business. I think instead it was Anakin was like Jedi business.
Oh yeah,
so that was kind of funny.
Yeah, and then we see. I think it's our first sighting. I may not be remembering from the first episode, but we see one of the other Mandalorians that's with Maul shooting back at the chasing garbage truck. So we do see. I know we saw Rook before, but I think this might have been the first one we saw. That's not, one of the other Mandalorians that's with him. So, so he's not.
Had Mad Max like Reacher feel this car chase. It was pretty fun. It was intense. I liked it.
Yeah,
I like that they still have roads on this planet. I mean, I guess like for land speeders, but so like they don't have just the kind of skyway thing where the vehicle, the air speeders all kind of go in a line. They still have roads on the ground.
Yeah, I think they were leading into tunnels though, because they get into the tunnel. And then I think the bridge that fell down was more like a pedestrian bridge type of thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, because they shoot back at the Mandalorians, as I like to call them, shoot back at the transport, and then Master Daki shows up, and we get to see him, using the Force to stop that transport and kind of flip it over, which is always cool to see that trick being used.
He had great moves too. His little slide spin, and it was, you could tell he's not even using half his talents.
Oh yeah, this is like he's one of those Jedi where like you didn't even need a lightsaber to do stuff.
Yeah, he's like Yoda in that way. It's like he has all this power, but he's kinds of hides it behind his short kind of stature and his kind of old man personality.
He's got like a dinosaur face. Thomas, you know dinosaurs. What does he look like to you?
He looks like He looks like, I can't remember the name of this movie, but there was like a movie from the 90s that had like humanoid dinosaurs and like Whoopi Goldberg was in it.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. He looked like something straight out of that movie. Or like he belonged in the live action Super Mario Brothers as like a Koopa or something, you know, like.
Don't remind me of that movie. Yeah, but then Maul initially comes out to try to face Docky, but then he decides instead of trying his luck, he's going to just use the Force to damage a bridge.
Because he knows, like, you're the Jedi, you will protect the innocent civilians rather than going after me, the Sith Lord.
I think Maul was afraid of him, quite honestly. Just a little. You know?
Yeah, because he's an unknown quantity. You know, he doesn't know what this Jedi's capable of. He's never met him before. So, and two, I felt it was like, the Master, he saves the people on the bridge rather than help Devon out of a jam. And I'm like, that's strike two, and I know Maul is going to use this.
Yes.
To like wheedle away at Devon's like, try, because like her Master has kind of left her in the lurch twice now.
Yeah, that's true.
Gathering intel.
Yeah, and Devon again. She tries, like, she's not just a helpless Padawan or something. Like she tries to get away herself, but then Rook uses the classic Mandalorian grappling line to grab her.
Mm-hmm.
And then they all escape back to their Maul cave or whatever you want to call
Maul
it.
Cave.
The Maul cave, yes.
Does he have the Maul computer, the Maul mobile?
Probably. We haven't. We'll see. I don't know. It was funny. Looking at Maul in this episode, I hadn't really noticed before, but his tattoos across his face, like, because it's the black that's around his mouth, it almost looks kind of like the Joker's, like, and I'm thinking of like the Heath Ledger Joker kind of like scars that, like, because the rest of his face is kind of red and black interspersed, but his mouth is like completely black. So
right, or like around his eyes, I think is also black.
Yeah. There's fangs too. It's like the Joker with fangs.
Yeah. Yeah, but then and then we go back to HQ with Lawson, and he's like, and I love that it's like a classic kind of a cop drama. Like he's drinking his calf. The chief's coming. The chief's onto him. Like, you got to close this case, Lawson, and he's talking about the governor instead of the mayor, but he's talking about the planetary governor.
And like, I liked how clearly, and this is realistic, where like the Empire doesn't have a presence on, like, boots on the ground presence on every planet in the galaxy. They couldn't. The Imperial Starfleet and the Stormtrooper Corps simply isn't large enough. Like, so they rely on local control to keep, as Tarkin would say, keep the local systems in line. They rely on local law enforcement and local, militaries to do a lot of their dirty work for them. But like, they're afraid of, if they don't get the job done, the Empire could bring the hammer down and show up in a heartbeat.
Yeah, like they do in Andor. Like, that's what it reminded me of. This planet is like it's like a nicer Ferrix, where you have the security. And I mean, that I think it was Prox Morlana was where those corporate security people were based. That planet looked, more like this one, although not, at least the parts we saw, not quite built up. But it's basically the same kind of a thing. Like, they're kind of left to handle security and do their own thing here, until there's a problem, and then they get called in.
And speaking of problem, this is my one animation nitpick. They did such a good job with adding extra detail all through this, except for one place. The Chief's hair. Her hair looks terrible. It barely looks like it fits with the realism level of everything else.
It was like Lego minifig hair.
It's just plastered to her head, and like her hairline starts in a weird spot on her forehead. It's like they needed to at least give her a bun and pull it back so she's like warrior mode or something.
She just uses a lot of hair gel or hairspray to keep it down.
Or never washed her very thin hair. I don't know.
I expected her to give Lawson more of a chewing out than she did, honestly. But
yeah, and I mean, we'll see more of that. You'll see more of that relationship develop in the future episodes. But
I just couldn't help but think of the Simpsons, that McBain skit, like, I don't want to hear it, McBain, you're out of here, where he gets called into the chief's office or whatever.
Yeah.
And another thing where they really hit the cop show crime drama every beat for beat is when his interaction with his son.
Yeah,
where it's like, there's the marriage is clearly broken up or on the rocks. They're separated. And it looks like his son's a teenager.
Yeah, his son's like
he's college age.
Is he college
older?
Because
maybe late teens, early 20s, but
he wants to go visit his mom, but his dad works all the time, and is getting called away at the most inopportune moments. I'm like, again, like these things are predictable.
He lives on pizza.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
pizza and calf.
Very like paint by numbers cop show, but I honestly didn't mind. It's just like, yep, I know where this is going.
Yeah.
And as soon as he says, I'll get time off. Oh, gotta go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, gotta go, son. Mm-hmm. We'll talk later, buddy. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It kind of, I think, bodes poorly for Lawson that in this surviving this series, whether it's this season or the series, because he's like one case away from retirement. And
that's another McBain thing.
Yeah.
Remember, like, I'm one case away from retirement, buddy. And then
yeah, but before we jump back a little bit, there was the scene where when Devon first comes into Maul's HQ, and he tells her he can have her injuries looked at by the Mandalorians, who are no strangers to combat injuries, which I thought was, a nice touch, because the Mandalorians are always fighting each other, and they're kind of like the Klingons in Trek, like they just have
true.
Yeah,
they're just always fighting, and so they've perfected the art of battlefield medicine.
But it's also like you're telling a Jedi, yeah, a Mandalorian's gonna look at your injuries. They're also no stranger to giving injuries to Jedi, so it's like,
right. Yeah, just that whole scene starts just, the creeper vibes going off, just the way he's like, oh, let me care for you. You're injured. Oh, it's like, oh, dude, stranger danger.
Yeah, and Rook starts to question Maul about her.
Yeah, I like that she sees through all his kind of creeper stuff right away.
Kind of.
Yeah, but she's starting to question things, I think, because she at the end of the episode, she kind of uses what Maul has taught her to think differently and to escape. But this is where we get Rook starting to question Maul, and where they, I think, could set up a Maul or a Rook's Rook's end with questioning Maul, because he's obviously fixated on this new Padawan as a possible apprentice for him, and kind of supplanting Rook's place in the organization. And because I think Maul just he's just using this as a power base to then eventually enact his revenge, as we see he tries to do in Rebels. But
when she asked the question, I'm sure we all want to know, how did Devon and Daki survive Order 66? We always get some backstory on it. I want to know. Right. Where were they? Yeah. How did they survive?
Well, it's like my brother and I talked about this today, because like we saw a post on social media where someone's saying like the Order 66 seems to have like generally like failed because a lot of Jedi survived. But I actually kind of headcanon it as that Order 66, because the Jedi Order was huge, but Order 66, I feel, had 3 primary objectives. 1, destroy the temple. 2, take out the entire Jedi Council. 3, kill as many masters as possible. Because you see in that montage in Revenge of the Sith, mostly Jedi masters getting killed and shot at.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I feel like they were comfortable with like leaving a lot of the rank and file Jedi to get mopped up later by Inquisitors or Purge Troopers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's what and that's what the Inquisitors and Vader's, like Vader's primary goal is just taking revenge on the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, we see that in Rebels and Kenobi that he's in.
And there's a Darth Vader book that talks about that. Yeah. So it really gets into his mission.
Yep.
Yeah. There's also, I haven't played them, but there's the Jedi Survivor video games that I think where Cal Kestis is a survivor and he has to fight off Inquisitors. And so,
Mm-hmm.
So, and we will see Inquisitors in this show. We will see at least 2 that were shown in the trailer. Marok, who's the one from Ahsoka, and then they call him he's the one called the Crow. I think he's the 11th brother, but he's the one from Tales of the Jedi that Ahsoka fights on that farm planet. Where she kind of rejoins the fight.
Right. So he's going to survive Maul, but I guess meet his end with Ahsoka.
Yeah. Yeah, and we didn't see any in this episode, but I posited last time that is Marok going to fight, is he going to die, quote unquote, at the hands of Maul or Devon and then get, resurrected into a green gas bag by by Maul or when that will happen. So by the magics.
Because they got to answer what is up with that guy. We see him briefly in Tales of the Empire.
Yeah, that's right.
As one of the first recruits into the Inquisitorius, but it's like we don't know how he got from A to C,
Yeah. So I think we could see that in this series. But yeah, that's getting ahead because we've not seen any Inquisitors or even Imperial presence yet.
No.
But yeah, Devon, she tells Maul that she's his prisoner and doesn't really know what to do, and Maul just says, well, if that's what you think you are, then that must be so. Like,
your focus determines your reality, I guess.
She put it hard. She didn't say I'm your prisoner. She says I'm a prisoner. She just defined herself as a prisoner, which was interesting. So
yeah. I think,
does she feel that way when she's hanging out on the streets with Daki trying to survive? Maybe.
Yeah, like what is she a prisoner of? How does she see herself as a prisoner? And I almost feel like when we first meet her and the Master, she seems to almost feel like she's, almost like a prisoner of his like rules and scruples as a Jedi.
Yeah. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see kind of where that goes with her. Because I think they're definitely. Thomas, I know you weren't here for our first Maul episode that we did, or on like our deep dive on Maul. But have you read any of the old Legends comics with Darth Talon, who was a Twi'lek Sith Lord?
I'm aware of them. Yeah, and was she? I feel like she was in the far future of the timeline.
She was
the Darth Krayt.
Yeah.
Era of the one Sith and all that. But yeah, in other words, like, is there like a possibility she could kind of be a quasi-canon Darth Talon?
Yeah. Definitely. I hope it turns out better for her and she doesn't fall down the path of Maul. But it seems like that's what's going to happen. And
it's like, here's something. I don't know if you guys talked about this on the deep dive, but like, I've always thought like, they seem to call Maul like a former Sith or like he's an ex-Sith. I'm like, I don't know. He still walks the walk and talks the talk. He still spouts Sith ideology, when he's trying to recruit his apprentices. If it walks like a Sith and it quacks like a Sith, it's a Sith, like he may not be part of the Bainite Sith cult anymore, but he seems to still believe in the worldview of the Sith, the will to power.
He's starting his own Sith denomination.
Yeah. No, he is.
He's a schismatic.
He is. He's schismatic off of the Bainite Sith tradition. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll see what happens there. As the season continues, and then we go back to Vario, Maul.
I like that guy.
Devon and Vario are thrown into cells, and that Devon she's been indoctrinated since her childhood and must adapt.
Maul has not been indoctrinated from his youth.
Right.
I think that's he knows what he knows.
Spouting it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was, so I think that's why he's telling her, you have been indoctrinated. But don't pay attention to that. I'm trying to indoctrinate you into my own thing.
Yeah.
Well, he's doing a classic line of when you're trying to twist someone's understanding of truth, change the terminology. So you've been indoctrinated. Now you have to adapt. So my indoctrination is actually adaptation. It's not indoctrination. It's and then great thing to watch every time he does a twist of truth with her. This is where Shadow Lord really stands out visually, because you will get the shadow of his face partially on her, fully on her, depending on how much he's twisting the truth. It'll be bigger, it'll be darker, it'll be heavier. It changes every time he's twisting the knife on her.
But then he goes to Vario, and we kind of learn what his end goal with Vario is that he wants to use Vario to get close to the Pikes, a boss named Krim, so that he can, because since Krim was one of the Shadow Collective who betrayed him, so that's his, and he's kind of threatening Vario with a palette of stuff that he'll is kind of bringing it closer and closer. If you don't tell me what I want to hear, this is gonna fall down and crush you, and he's a small guy anyway, so
yeah,
probably wouldn't take too much.
A windfall threat.
Yeah.
More money, more problems.
Is that what it was? A pallet of money? Or
it was
credits?
Gold bars. Yeah.
It was credits. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we've met a single Pike who's not a criminal.
Well,
yeah.
I don't think Pike is the species. I think it's the syndicate.
It's the it's mostly made up of whatever that species is.
Yeah, they are
the fishmen. Whatever they.
Yeah, what are they called? I feel like I should know this, but anyway, yeah, they're I guess they are the Pike is the name of their species. Okay.
And they've also mentioned that Black Sun used to be part of the syndicate, and if you're familiar with Legends at all, that name will start setting off alarm bells, because the Black Sun was infamously controlled by Prince Shizor in Shadows of the Empire. And so this must be before he controls Black Sun, or maybe since the Empire's in control, maybe he's controlling it now. I don't know what his status in canon is.
We do see the Black Sun in the Clone Wars when he's gathering all these syndicates. He goes to their headquarters and basically starts killing them until they agree to join his collective. So yeah, we've seen them in canon as well. So yeah, that could be interesting if they brought in a young the species is a Falleen. If they brought in a young Falleen with a ponytail, we can do the Leo point that it's that we know.
Yeah,
it's Shizor. So, and then going back to Law, it's interesting that it kind of jumps back and forth between Lawson and Maul. So you're getting both sides of you're getting the criminal and you're getting the on the side of the law. But he goes to visit his informant Rena Sewell to ask about the Shadow Collective, and she basically tells him about Maul and how he took over various syndicates, but he's been missing since the end of the Clone Wars.
Little kind of side note there. I liked that the elevator is a droid and laughs at him at Lawson as he's getting on and off the elevator. I'm like, oh great. I'm like, the last thing I need is the elevator talking to me. Reminds me of those doorbell droids that Jabba the Hutt had.
Oh yeah.
Like those guys.
And she was very friendly with him.
So. Yeah, there was a comic that was a lead up to Maul. So I think she was probably in that. I've not read that comic. but I would assume that she's somewhere in there, because I think it's like a little bit of a prequel to when Lawson was like his case before this one or something.
Would that have anything to do with what they toasted to?
Oh,
was it Cavalier?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, that was what did he say? Like that was a bad job or something like that." And I was like, "Oh, I'm like neat world building, something we haven't seen." I'm like, but of course it must be in something else. So like,
yeah, and if for people who watch, they might recognize her voice as the actress Pamela Adlon, who was famously the voice of Bobby Hill in King of the Hill.
Oh. Kind of now that you say that, yeah.
Wow.
She's in a ton of stuff too, but yeah, she's famously the voice of Bobby Hill. And then I think too, Brander Lawson's son is voiced by Pamela Adlon's son, I believe. I'm looking it up now too, but yeah, we talked about that, I think, last time, that there was a family connection too between Steve Bloom and his son, as well. So maybe not, but if so, then yeah, it's I like to get that family connection there. But yeah, then we see Docky kind of tailing Lawson, and Lawson kind of catching that he's being tailed, but then Docky's quick on his feet and hides from Lawson. So
I thought for a second there, when Lawson jumped in his car, Docky was going to be there. I was waiting for that, because it was just
be in the back seat.
Yeah,
he'd be like the Dilophosaurus from Jurassic Park, who's in the car when Nedry gets in the car.
He kind of does look like the.
He fits the part. Why not?
He just starts spitting at him,
spitting acid at him.
Which Docky could do. We don't know what his.
We don't know what his species can do. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I was more like, whoa, Lawson, you were very quick to pull your blaster there. You didn't, you knew someone was behind you, but you didn't know whether they were friend or foe.
Well, he was going to this kind of like the seedy part of town in the underworld. So
true. Yeah.
Somewhere that cops probably shouldn't go, but
yeah.
But yeah, then we get back to the Maul HQ, and Maul tells Devon she can leave anytime she wants, but this is where Devon says she's imprisoned, and or she says it again, and he tells her to change your point of view, which, of course, harkens back to the famous Obi-Wan line, from a certain point of view.
Right. I was also thinking, always with you, what cannot be done,
Mm-hmm. And again, huge shadow cast first. And it was bigger this time, and then we're on the same side. It's like, oh, dude, he's just twisting the story now.
Yeah, and then Devon does tell Maul that she's heard stories about him since, he was the first Sith Lord seen in 1,000 years. So he's...
That wasn't covered up.
Yeah, well...
Yeah.
Sorry. That's a break.
Oh, golly. The show that shall not be named.
And speaking of that, this is if we get to see dark side training, that's what I wish Acolyte had been.
Right.
And we could finally see that kind of redemption, or not of that series, but redemption of that idea in the show, if we get there with Maul and Devon, because I've kind of thought that they're going to have a time jump between this season and the next one, because I think I think the thing they should do is connect this to Solo and show how Maul, maybe have this 5 years down the line, and Maul's started a new syndicate, Crimson Dawn, and see him dealing with a young Dryden Voss and Kira and all that kind of stuff, and that eventually sets up Solo.
He does mention Crimson Dawn at least once as one of the...
Oh, does he? Okay.
Yeah, that was originally... So it's almost like he's lost control of Crimson Dawn, but he's planning to retake it or something.
Okay. I thought he just mentioned Black Sun and was talking about the other syndicates that he controlled.
I could have sworn I heard him also say
it could have
been,
Dawn.
Yeah.
It could have been. Yeah, I didn't watch with subtitles, which I probably should. At least on my
I had the
my
subtitles on, so I didn't miss any. I wanted
What's
not
funny
to miss
with
anything.
Black Sun and Crimson Dawn, and it's look at Maul's face.
Yes, black and red. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's when now they have the intel from Vario, they send Spybot up to slice into the Pike's cargo ship and force it to land. And I just love this scene of Maul striding up the entrance ramp and just taking out all the Pikes. I mean, I don't love violence, but seeing Maul, in this show is entertaining doing that.
He needed a hallway scene. Like every one of these characters gets a hallway scene. So
as soon as I saw it, I'm like, hallway fight.
Yeah.
And I have to say, growing up with younger brothers, fights in the hallway,
yes,
are insane. There's not much room to move around.
Mm-hmm. No,
yeah, you have a brother, Thomas. Come on, you had fights in the
we
hallway.
had some hallway fights. Yeah,
you can't run.
Hallway fights where there's flying objects involved.
Yeah, and I do love the animation of seeing Maul's lightsaber. Like it almost looks like Kylo Ren's lightsaber in the way that the blade is like not stable. Like Jedi lightsabers, and even I think other like red lightsabers we've seen in animation are pretty stable. You don't see like the blade like the shifting and stuff like that, but it's like but it looks like that here, and that could just be a tweak of the animation now that they can do more with that. But it looked really cool. And I like to think it has to do with Maul's like channeling his rage through his saber, and because we talked about too, they've recorded some of Sam Witwer's like screams into the sound effects of the lightsaber. That's something they've done. So, which is which kind of harkens to that, because in canon, kyber crystals are living. So, and for a Sith to turn the crystal red, you have to like bleed it and pour malice and evil into it, or use it to commit an evil act or something to kind of turn the crystal. So I don't know if that's what they're going for.
This is the first time I remember having a literal point of view in a lightsaber attack, as you're watching the point of Maul's lightsaber finish the attack on that Pike's face.
Oh, yeah.
It cuts to black right before contact, but it was like, man, that is point of view right there.
Or the last guy he gets, he's done the Sith thing where he puts him up against the ceiling, and then as he comes down, cuts him in half.
Yeah, but
for being cut in half, he seems to like that move on other people. I don't know if it makes him feel better about himself.
Let's see you.
If I'm half a man, I'm cutting you in half.
Yeah, let's see you get a pair of mechanical legs anytime soon,
Yeah.
I mean, another great audio moment when they pan out of the ship and you're just seeing the flashes of light. You get the Han Solo torture scream as that guy's dying.
Was that what that was? I thought it sounded familiar.
I was like, I listened and went, what? Rewound it. It's like, it's Han Solo.
That I couldn't place it, but that's what that was. That's when he's being lowered towards like that heat torture device, right? In Empire.
Yes. Yeah. That yell. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And then back at HQ again, Maul tells he's still trying to like twist his way into Devon, and he tells her to see the galaxy as it truly is, and she tries. We see her try to use the Force to open her cell door, like to open the latch, but she either gives up or she can't. And to quote Master Yoda, you do or do not. There is no try. So she, I think, thinks she can't, so she can't. So
it's like that block there.
Yeah.
It was interesting. We have another big shadow on her, and then after trying, she recedes deeper into her shell, farther from the light of the window. So she's let herself sink into darkness before she starts getting her, new view of the galaxy.
Yeah, because she feels the air moving, and there's a pretty big gap in the back of it that she's. And these cells are interesting. I don't know if they're set up this way intentionally if you put her in this one intentionally, seeing if she would like break her way out like this. But
yeah, that's what me and my brother were saying. That it's like he seems to have designed these cells that like nobody except a Jedi could like escape them.
Yeah, they're almost like they look like a bank vault type of a thing. So I don't know if that's what they were that he like, or because they're kind of down in the sewers. So I don't know if it's like a part of the old, built up city that's been abandoned now that they've built above it. But
just half of one pressed against the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, but she's able to, use the Force and push the entire thing away, which seems like a harder task than just flipping a latch. But I think it's a sign that she's, teetering on the edge of darkness. She can give in to, she probably is giving into fear and despair, and she can then tap into that to use the Force more powerfully than she could have if she was just trying to subtly unlock the door from the regular from the front of it. So but that's where it ends. She frees herself, and we'll see what happens next. But
seemed like a quick finish.
Yeah. I felt like this was shorter than the first one, wasn't it?
It was a little bit, yeah. Yeah, and this one will be interesting and fun to like when it's all out to like go back and like binge watch it all.
Oh yeah,
all in a stretch or like over 2 days or something. I think it'll lend itself well to that because we're not really having filler side adventures like we would in like Bad Batch or even Rebels sometimes. Like it seems like every episode it's one long story arc, at least so far.
Yeah, I read that it's going to be heavily serialized, so no like one-off episodes, I think.
Yeah, which I think it makes sense for a character like Maul. Like you don't want like it's not like Bad Batch or Rebels, which
ensemble cast.
Yeah, which are a little bit more and also a little bit more like kid friendly and like you can have the fun side quests, but this is more like really kind of getting into the character and the darkness of Maul. So,
and I gotta say, I mean, if they can play like, 12 hours of extended edition Middle Earth movies, why can't we just put this thing in a movie theater and let us just sit there all day long and watch it on the big screen?
Yeah, that would be nice if they ever did that. But yeah, the only other final note I had was, and it's not really about this episode, but I meant to say it last time, but I wonder if the name Lawson is a reference to Dennis Lawson, who was Wedge Antilles in the original trilogy.
Possibly. I was just
he
thinking,
doesn't look like him, but
I was just thinking it's one of those very on the nose names that Star Wars animation seems to like to do, like Hemlock. And now, like, Lawson, it's he's a lawman. He's a son of the law. He's Lawson.
Get it?
Get it? Very on the nose. Yeah, it's like...
And just in case you don't get that, they had to play the classic cop trumpet music when Docky was following him. A little melancholy, kind of mellophony sounding trumpet music.
Yeah. We just need an episode of Lawson just in like a PI office in black and white saying, just monologuing about it was a dark day, darker than I'd ever seen.
Have his underworld girlfriend come to the door.
Yeah, she's dressed in yeah, exactly.
As like, one of those like 1920s, like yeah, no, that'd be funny.
Fatales, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What do you guys think? Like, definitely at some point, Two Boots is calling the Empire.
Well,
he's probably got his finger hovering over the button every time he says it.
We're going to call the Empire, right? We're going to call the Empire. Like,
yeah.
Lawson's like,
did
not
he
yet.
Hold that
yet.
up on his? Did he hold that up on his data pad when the captain came in? Because it looked like he was like pointing to like, can we call now?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens there. But
his voice sounds familiar. Is he anyone we know, Jeff?
Well, Two Boots.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was the voice of Zero in The Mandalorian, the droid. But it's the guy from Richard Ayoade. I forget, I'm probably mispronouncing his name, but he was in the IT crowd, and he's been in a bunch of stuff. Like, if you look up his voice, you'll probably like think, "Oh yeah, I know that guy." But in Star Wars, yes, he voiced Zero from The Mandalorian. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Which, could be. Is it a conspiracy theory that Two Boots becomes Zero somehow?
Somehow, I like that. Whatever he is, he's basically like the police version of a protocol droid.
Yeah,
he's all for etiquette and protocol and doing stuff by the book or whatever.
Good old boots on the ground, Two Boots. Oh.
Well, any final thoughts on this episode?
No, I think we well and truly covered it. Yeah.
Anything else from you, Kathryn?
No, I think we hit everything. That was really good.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, we'll definitely, as we've noted, we're going to be behind the episodes released. By the time this comes out, 5 and 6 will be out. So, you can watch ahead, but we're not spoiling here. So I think last time I may have mentioned the bridge falling, which happened in this episode, not the first one. So, so we'll try not to spoil ahead, but we may,
it's really hard not to spoil ahead.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that'll do it for this episode of The Secrets of Star Wars. We'd like to take a moment to thank all of our patrons who make this show possible, including Joe N., Amy G., Eric M., Earl P., and the G family. Their generous donations help us to create The Secrets of Star Wars and all the shows here at StarQuest. And you can join them at GiveStarQuest.com. And be sure to follow the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, your favorite podcast app, or on the StarQuest YouTube channel. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/StarQuestMedia, on X where we are at SQPN, or on Instagram where we are at StarQuest Network. Be sure to get your official Secrets of Star Wars gear at sqpn.com/merch. And now we'd love to hear from you, our listeners. What did you think of this episode of Maul Shadow Lord? You can let us know by sending us an email at starwars@sqpn.com, on our social media pages, or by leaving a comment on our channel on the StarQuest Discord server, which you can find at sqpn.com/discord. And we do have a spoiler channel, and one that will be current with the show, so you can jump into the conversation wherever you are. So join us next time for episode 3 of Maul Shadow Lord. Until then, thank you, Kathryn Laffrey, for joining me and sharing the secrets of Star Wars.
Thank you, Jeff.
And Thomas Salerno, thank you as well.
Thank you, Jeff.
And once again, I'm Jeff Haecker. Thank you for listening to The Secrets of Star Wars on StarQuest.
Here's another show on the StarQuest Network you're sure to enjoy. The Catholics of Oz. Find it wherever fine podcasts are found or at sqpn.com/Oz.